Hello all. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, based on wherever you are. In continuation series of what's new in Business Central 2022 Release Wave 2, today we'll be seeing a small but a very useful feature for developers, which is to launch a specific company from Visual Studio Code. Now, as a user, you might think that why it's needed, but as a developer, you'll understand the value of this feature because it's needed when you are doing a debugging process or we are testing an app. You would like to do it in context to a specific company. Now, till 2022 release wave 1, as a developer, you cannot control which company to use when you launch your app from your VS Code and see what actually which company kind of floats. Typically, what you would have done is set up a default company in the client first, and then based on that, that company would have loaded. But if there are 20 companies that you have or 30 companies that you have in your environment, and you specifically want to launch to a specific company your extension deployment process, then that's where you had problems with the Visual Studio Code. To solve this problem, in 2022 release wave 2, what Microsoft have done is added a new startup company parameter in the Visual Studio Code, specifically in the launch.json file, where you can specify the company name that you would like to use when the client is launched from Visual Studio Code, like when you're trying to run or debug a process, and that'll help you. So let's quickly have a small sample of it. So here we are on Kronos USA, and we would like to test our feature into my company. Let's copy this, and it did change the company, which is which I didn't want, but it did that. We'll wait for it to load, and then we'll switch it back to Kronos USA because we would like to test out the feature of having a company not set up as we want to run it from. So what I've already done is I've already created a VS Code project. The symbols are downloaded. This is a standard sample snippet from Microsoft around the customer list extension, which is part of this. And then in the launch.json, it is pointing to my sandbox. That's what this is. Now, what you can do during debugging process that you can come to your launch.json like this, and in the launch.json, add a new parameter anywhere, which is the startup company parameter. And within the double quotes, you can list down your company name that you would like to tag, which I don't know why I did not copied, but let me get the name easier this way, I guess. Let me see if I can copy this. Okay, my company, copy, close this. So now I should be able to go back to my VS Code and try to paste it here. I cannot untype it this time. Okay, I was able to. So what I'm saying is when I, for debugging or for publishing, if I do it from my VS Code, this should automatically load my company and my debugging process should happen on my company. So when I do a publish of this app, it will remember that I have set up a startup parameter and the browser that should get loaded should have the my company open on most probably a separate tab so that we can utilize it. To be fair, I haven't used it before this, but I've read about it. And let's see what happens when this app gets published into the environment. Now, if you see the URL, it remembers that who I am and which company I'm targeting to, and which is my company. And then it should be loading my company irrespective of whatever the last company that I've used. So this should actually pop up the customer list, which is the default startup page set on your app.json, sorry, on your launch.json. And because the page had the extension, so that's why it gets populated. But the feature is actually about going to the right company that I've specified in my launch.json, which is here. So the starter page is here. That's why the uh, page 22 is being called, and because of these two properties, and the company was chosen based on this parameter. So the launch in a specific company from VS Code, it makes life easier when you're doing your debugging scenarios and when you have to target a specific company while you're you know, publishing your app for debugging purposes from your VS Code. Let me know in comments how you think about this feature, how you can utilize this feature. Did I miss anything while talking about this feature? And I'll see you next time on a next new feature with 2022 release day 2. Have a nice day. Thank you.